viable as a country.
We don't need their lumber because we have our own forests.
Canada is going to be a very interesting situation.
We have more than anybody.
Imagine a world where Canada shifts its traditional alliances, joining forces with emerging economies to reshape the global order. This scenario, while hypothetical, prompts a deep dive into the origins and evolution of BRICS, a coalition that could potentially welcome Canada into its fold. Do like, share, and subscribe to our channel for more. If you're ready, let's dive into the story. Canada's hypothetical entry into BRICS would have profound implications for the United States and the G7. It would challenge existing alliances, alter economic dynamics, and necessitate a re-evaluation of strategic priorities. As the global order becomes increasingly multipolar, such developments underscore the need for adaptive strategies and open dialogue among nations to navigate the evolving landscape. Against this backdrop, the notion of Canada joining BRICS presents a fascinating twist. Traditionally aligned with Western powers through the G7 and NATO, Canada's potential pivot towards BRICS would signify a strategic recalibration. Such a move could be driven by desires to diversify trade partnerships, enhance economic resilience, and play a more prominent role in emerging markets. The journey of BRICS from a conceptual acronym to a formidable coalition underscores the shifting contours of global power. As we explore the hypothetical scenario of Canada's accession to BRICS, it's imperative to understand the group's origins, achievements, and internal dynamics. This foundation sets the stage for analyzing the profound implications such a development would have on Canada, the United States, and the broader G7 alliance. In recent years, the global economic and political landscape has experienced significant shifts, prompting nations to reassess their alliances and strategic priorities. For Canada, traditionally anchored within Western institutions like the G7 and NATO, the evolving dynamics of the BRICS coalition present both opportunities and challenges. This chapter delves into Canada's strategic considerations regarding a potential association with BRICS, analyzing the motivations, implications, and potential outcomes of such a move. Canada's economy has long been intertwined with that of the United States, its largest trading partner. However, recent geopolitical tensions and economic uncertainties have underscored the risks of over-reliance on a single market. The imposition of tariffs by the United States on Canadian goods, as reported by Reuters, has intensified discussions about the need for Canada to diversify its trade relationships. Aligning with BRICS nations, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa, offers access to rapidly growing markets and the potential to mitigate economic vulnerabilities. A comprehensive analysis of the BRICS economies reveals a diverse group with varying degrees of economic development, political systems, and strategic interests. According to a study published in the Transnational Corporations Review, the BRICS nations collectively account for a significant portion of the world's population and GDP, presenting substantial market opportunities. For Canadian businesses, engaging with these economies could open avenues in sectors such as energy technology and agriculture. However, challenges related to regulatory environments, political stability, and market accessibility must be carefully evaluated. Joining or closely associating with BRICS would represent a notable shift in Canada's foreign policy orientation. It would require navigating complex relationships, particularly with nations like China and Russia, where diplomatic ties have faced challenges. A report by the Observer Research Foundation highlights that Canada's potential engagement with BRICS could be influenced by broader geopolitical dynamics, including tensions between BRICS members and Western countries. Canada would need to balance its existing commitments to Western allies with the pursuit of new partnerships within BRICS. Aligning with BRICS could enhance Canada's strategic autonomy by reducing dependence on traditional Western alliances and fostering a more multipolar approach to international relations. The Carnegie Endowment for International Peace notes that BRICS aims to create a counterbalance to Western-dominated institutions, promoting a more equitable global order. For Canada, participation in such a bloc could amplify its influence in global governance and provide a platform to advocate for reforms that reflect the interests of emerging and middle powers. Domestically, the prospect of Canada engaging with BRICS elicits mixed reactions. A poll conducted by betaday.ca indicates a nearly even split among Canadians regarding the idea of joining alternative international alliances. Proponents argue that such a move could unlock new economic opportunities and strengthen Canada's global standing, Critics, however, express concerns about aligning with countries that may not share Canada's values on issues such as human rights and democratic governance. Any decision in this regard would require careful consideration of public sentiment and the potential impact on Canada's national identity. Canada's contemplation of a closer association with BRICS reflects a broader strategic calculus aimed at navigating an increasingly complex global environment. While the potential economic benefits are significant, they must be weighed against geopolitical risks and domestic considerations. As Canada charts its path forward, it will need to carefully balance the imperatives of economic diversification, strategic autonomy, and adherence to its core values. The hypothetical scenario of Canada joining BRICS introduces a complex web of geopolitical and economic considerations, particularly concerning its traditional allies, the United States and the G7 nations. Canada's accession to BRICS would signify a departure from its long-standing alignment with Western powers. This shift could be perceived as a challenge to the cohesion of the G7, potentially weakening the united front that these nations present on global issues. The Foreign Policy Research Institute highlights that BRICS, under China's and Russia's leadership, poses a formidable challenge to the US-led G7's rules-based international order. The inclusion of Canada in BRICS might embolden the bloc's efforts to reshape global governance structures, further challenging Western dominance. This could lead to a realignment of international coalitions, with countries reassessing their strategic partnerships in response to the evolving power dynamics. Economically, Canada's integration into BRICS could have significant consequences for trade relationships. The United States, as Canada's largest trading partner, might view this move with apprehension, especially if it leads to increased economic collaboration between Canada and other BRICS nations. Such a development could alter trade flows, supply chains, and investment patterns. Furthermore, BRICS has been actively pursuing alternatives to the US dollar in international trade, aiming to reduce reliance on Western financial systems. The Council on Foreign Relations notes that the BRICS countries have sought to reduce the primacy of the US dollar in international trade for more than a decade, primarily by increasing the use of their own currencies for trading. Canada's participation in these initiatives could undermine the dollar's dominance, potentially weakening the United States' economic influence globally. From a defense perspective, Canada's move towards BRICS could raise concerns within NATO, where Canada plays a pivotal role. The Times highlights that the expanding BRICS alliance, which now includes countries like Egypt, Saudi Arabia, and Iran, could potentially transform into a formidable anti-American coalition similar to NATO. This development might prompt the United States and its allies to reassess their defense strategies and commitments, particularly in regions where BRICS nations are extending their influence. Diplomatically, Canada's association with BRICS could strain its relationships with Western allies. The United States and European nations might question Canada's commitment to shared values and objectives, leading to potential diplomatic friction. Conversely, Canada could leverage its position within BRICS to act as a bridge between Western and emerging economies,